Welcome to ATHENASIA, I'm Lauren Timmermans. In this video we'll be discussing the end of Hong Kong. Is it really the end of Hong Kong? You hear that in the media. So see you in a minute. Now, to be honest with you, I really didn't want to do this video. I have been procrastinating on it for more than 3 months, but at a certain point I have to, I have clients, prospects asking me about what's going on in Hong Kong, and I think I have to do something. I have to talk about it. So I will do this video, but I really don't want to be political. So I'm not really taking side here. What I want to do is to look about how the situation in Hong Kong, how the protests are actually affecting the business, especially how they are affecting the decision to keep your business or open a new business in Hong Kong. Should they even affect it? Okay, so I guess you have seen it in the media. There's stuff going on in Hong Kong at the moment. So there have been intense protests with sometimes up to 2 million people in the street. There's like 25% of Hong Kong in the street. It's quite impressive, but nowhere as violent as what is depicted by the media, to be honest with you. Media love sensationalism, and I mean, it's not what's happening here really, So as I said, I don't want to be political. I want to stick to the business. I will try my best to do that. Now, it might be beneficial for you to get more information. Maybe you want to know, about Hong Kong. What's the history of Hong Kong? How come there's such tension? Why it was British and now it's Chinese? Why there's one country to system? I will talk about that a couple of times in the videos. So if you want to get back to those basics, maybe after the videos run or before, I will put some link in the description below, and you can just go there and improve your general understanding of Hong Kong. But I'm not going to repeat it here because good work has been done before. So go have a look. Let's face it, Hong Kong depends almost 100% of the relationship they have with China. From the early beginning, Hong Kong has been the gateway to China, in and out of China. Westerns like to open companies here to deal with China. China likes to open companies in Hong Kong to deal with the West. Most of the industries in Hong Kong are tied to China with logistic, financial services, or tourism. Even tourism is actually China. It's not the Belgian coming to see the big Buddha and taking picture in his fancy short. That will actually contribute that much to the tourism revenues of Hong Kong. Mainly is the buses of mainland Chinese coming to Hong Kong and buying a whole bunch of luxury goods. So there are some figures that were reported to me by a reporter. Actually, just yesterday I had a meeting with a reporter, and she said, oh yeah, these famous a brand of watch, I won't give any name because I don't want to do polemics here, but these brand of watch recorded 80% decline in sales for last month. Like, yeah, okay. Also, there is 60 to 70% less turnover since July for retail businesses in Causeway Bay area. So, okay, these might be an other area affected by the protest. So yes, there is some real impact on these local businesses where you have the protest, because obviously, they are closed. People also don't have the mood for shopping and things like that. Luxury brand, yeah, it's impressive to see 80% down, but mainly is because it's not because Hong Kong people decided to stop buying watches. Basically because the mainland Chinese are not coming to Hong Kong anymore. I took a membership for my family in the Ocean Park. There's nobody. That's a good deal. If you want to go to Ocean Park, go now, because there's no tourists. In summer, most of the time, this is filled with mainland Chinese tourists that come to enjoy the park. At the moment, nobody. So perfect. No need to wait in the attraction. Plus, at the moment, also, like, the hotel are not really full. People are not really interested to come to Hong Kong at the moment. So there's good deals on hotels as well. But yeah, so there is some sectors that sees a big decline in sales. Okay, but not all the sectors. Like, for example, in business services, yes, we had less company opening, but we still have all the accounting, the maintenance of the companies, etc. So it's still okay. I mean, I see a bit of a decline, but not crazy declines. Mainly not much growth, but the business keep going. So yes, obviously it's not sexy for the media to report these kind of numbers, but yeah. Other thing also is the real estate is going down a little bit because obviously people don't have much confidence in the Hong Kong economy at the moment. So buying new flat is not really in the top of their priority. So there's also a bit of decline there. But does it really matter for foreigners with business in Hong Kong? That's the question a little bit today. So I don't think it really matters. No, if you have an e-commerce, an international consulting, a trading sourcing, if you're not even in Hong Kong, I mean, if you're a digital nomad and you are currently in Bali and you do web development and your company is based in Hong Kong, I mean, does it really affect you? I'm not really sure. Now, we'll still discuss at the end of the video, should you keep the company or close it or whatever, open a new one if you're thinking about that, although I think you start to see me getting there slowly. Yeah. Now let's talk about the real issues. No, so now the question I hear all the time is like, okay, but what about China? What are the intentions? Will they take over Hong Kong, and stop all freedoms or something like that, So, and also you have all the foreigners that arrived in Hong Kong like 6 months ago that became geopolitical expert on China-Hong Kong relationship, and honestly, sometimes pissed off what I'm seeing on Facebook. I'm here since 11 years. I'm married to a Chinese. I have a Hong Kong business for 7 years now. And the only thing I can say is that it's complicated, really complicated. So complicated that I don't even want to emit an opinion, especially a public one. So yeah, it's not that easy. Now, if you look at the fact, technically, Hong Kong is already Chinese, so there's no need to take over something that already belongs to China. But there is one country, two system, and that was the condition for UK to give back Hong Kong to China. And basically UK gave back Hong Kong to China if China kept a relatively different system called one country, two system in Hong Kong, which give more freedoms and right to Hong Kong people compared to the mainland for 50 years. And now we still have 27 years to go. So I don't really think that China would just stop that. Diplomatically speaking, that would be really wise. Plus, the other thing is that this system is not only good for Hong Kong, it's good for China as well. As we said before, Hong Kong is a gateway to China. It's a way in, it's a way out. Many foreigners come to Hong Kong to open businesses here to deal with China, and many Chinese manufacturers open companies in Hong Kong to deal with the rest of the world. So this is kind of a buffer zone, with rules of law, if you are wondering why it's good to come to Hong Kong, check it below, I'll put 10 reasons why. But it's a good place. It's good for Hong Kong, it's good for China, it's good for the West, it's good for everybody. So why would they stop that? I don't think they would, really. And as we said, diplomatically speaking, that wouldn't be the wisest thing to do. Plus, if you look at the grand plan of China, they have a plan called the Greater Bay Project, where they will link a whole bunch of Chinese cities together, and Hong Kong has a center role to play in these, so Shenzhen, Guangzhou, and everything. Especially with the one country, two system, the financial services, the rules of law, and all the goodies that we have in Hong Kong. This is one of the key pieces to make this whole project happen. So I don't think China wants to screw that up. This is their own plan, not the Hong Kong plan. It's just Hong Kong is part of it. And this Greater Bay project makes me even think that even after those 27 years, Hong Kong might still keep a certain one country, two system, because this would be a good system to fit within this Greater Bay. Now, this has maybe been discussed but never published publicly. So I don't know. I'm just talking in the air at the moment, but it's highly possible. Actually, that's what I personally believe, is that if there's no major issues with Hong Kong, like projects, things like that, it's actually highly possible that Hong Kong keep a certain, I won't say independence because it's not really the word, but a certain level of freedom, especially the rules of law, low tax, ease of administration, etc., in here, to actually be able to be this key piece in the whole Greater Bay project. Now, the true question that I have, is not really, is also, yeah, but China Police Liberation Army will come and take over China and calm the whole thing. It will be a massacre or something. Okay, well, let's chill for a minute, before massacring everybody. First, the situation is far from out of control. There's a lot of media attention, so a massacre is maybe not the best way to handle this project, this issue. And then, yes, China is putting a lot of troops in Shenzhen. They have shown videos of the troops training, etc. I guess it's also a way to show the protesters, say, look, we are there, maybe cool down. But I don't think they want to come and they don't want to enter Hong Kong, okay? Even Carrie Lam, I guess she's quite connected, with Beijing. Should have a direct line or something. She said in a really recent interview with Reuters that China knows it's not even a good idea to come here, And I would just read what she said. Is like, they know that the price would be huge to pay, so they know it's not a good idea to just send the army and kill everybody. But she also said that they are ready to play the long game, which means they are not going to just say, okay, well, let's give them what they want. It's more like they will wait. If it takes a few months, even a year, for the whole situation to die down, even economy to go down, and they will just wait. So that's the current strategy of Beijing. So yeah, let's see how it goes. But I don't think the PLA will come. Now, let's imagine they come. That doesn't mean China is taking over. As I say, Hong Kong is already part of China, So if the PLA come, they might just restore the order and then go. And Hong Kong will keep its special system. And as I mentioned a bit earlier, there's also diplomatic issues at stakes. So I won't get back to that again. I think we understood. Now, the real question, final question, should you keep a business if you have one in Hong Kong? Should you open one, etc.? So let's take three situations. Now, if you want to open a restaurant in Causeway Bay, maybe it's not the best time. You should maybe hold on to that one. That's not a great idea. Just wait for the whole thing to pass, and then you can consider. But it's not the main bulk of my clients. Now, if you already have a company, should you close it? I don't think so. Especially if you are most of my clients are in e-commerce, international consulting. They do trading. Many are not even here. If this is the case, or service, if this is the case, I don't think the situation is really affecting you much. So I wouldn't say close your company. I think you can wait. If really there's a big problem, I cannot even foresee what this big problem could be, but no, you just close it at that moment, But at the moment, I don't really see the problem. So I would say no, just keep it. It's fine. Now I know it's my business and I want to keep the company, but so far I can tell you I didn't lose a single company with the protest. And when I have a client that do something a bit fishy with his residency and things like that, I tell him to close immediately. So I'm not just trying to retain clients. It's not my idea. It's just to tell you what I'm thinking. Now, if you plan to open a company here, well, I would say if you're thinking of immigration, coming to Hong Kong, etc., maybe just wait a little bit, especially if you bring your family. If you don't know the whole place, it might feel weird to just arrive in a new place where there's protest every week, So maybe hold on if you just want to come here and become a Hong Kong resident with a business in Hong Kong. Now, if it's a remote business, you're a foreigner, you're away, you have, an e-commerce on Amazon, a Shopify shop, you have suppliers in China, sell to US, to Europe, you do consulting or service where you travel a bit everywhere, you do some trading. So yeah, why not? It doesn't change much really. As I told you, even for us, it didn't affect the business much up until now. Maybe not growing as fast as it used to, but no decline really. It's still quite steady. So I would say, yeah, why not? It's up to you. Now, if you're really risk adverse and yeah, maybe just don't come and wait, you know. But Hong Kong still remains this special place, and this, I would say, even only gate and bridge between the West and China. So if you want to open an e-commerce, I think it's really here. Now, if you do international service, yeah, you can maybe consider Singapore, or you can still do something similar, and you don't need this special connection with China. But if you need that special connection to China, it's kind of it's here. It's the place to be. You know? So I hope these answer a few questions on the protest and the decision to open a new business in Hong Kong. And well, if you like it, put a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friend, post a comment. Don't be too harsh, you know, especially between you, you know. I know this subject can be quite polarizing, so don't start to argue down below. It's not fun. Yep. So, and I see you in the next one.